Saturday. Hello,
Hello.
handsome.
Hello, gorgeous. I get to kiss her twice there, see? So,
I know,
for
lucky him.
benefit.
We've had a request to talk about fair fighting rules, and a few people have asked us about it, so we thought that we would make sure we do that. Um,
I think we're
Live
still
is
going.
doing a
Yeah,
few
Live's
things
having
with
fun
us.
with us.
Having fun. And because a couple of people have asked about communication in general, and the this fair fighting rules is a very important piece, especially starting out relationships, but it's always good to keep checking in with each other as well. We thought we would go over it. Um, Fair fighting rules or rules of engagement help everyone to feel emotionally safe. It feels fair, and then outcomes are predictable. Those are the three main reasons, and we'll go
It
over those a
also
little more.
helps you recognize when somebody's not fighting fair. If you have rules, then you can recognize what behavior you don't want to accept.
Excellent. Um, so to go over some past things in past relationships that I've experienced, um, these are some ways that sometimes people operate. So I'm going to bring them up. One is the partners ignore each other. Usually one party ignores another party. It causes a lot of upset.
Be silent. Treatment.
Silent treatment.
Yeah,
It's
always,
awful. Actually, if there's a few water studies where you can look that up. Ignoring someone is even worse than actually screaming and yelling at them. It just really causes a lot of trauma. For me, what I didn't like about being ignored or not talking, sometimes what would happen is it would be 3 days or so, and then all of a sudden the person was talking to me again.
for no reason.
For no reason,
Yeah.
right? Or they would reach over and touch me, which meant, oh, we're back on the same page again, seemingly. And it
No,
didn't.
but I have more control over you at this point.
Exactly. And then what's really ineffective about the ignoring part is that I would never know how to, first of all, whatever behavior triggered that, which is also a controlling thing. The second thing that would happen is I would never be able to fix the relationship. I never knew what wasn't working. So I was always in the question. And honestly, it would just cause a lot of turmoil, a lot of belly hurt and stuff. And so ignoring is just a super ineffective way to communicate. The other way was the opposite. I experienced a relationship where there was a lot of screaming and yelling. We're both angry. We're kind of at each other like this. Nothing productive happens because, first of all, for me, when screaming and yelling happens, I shut down. I can't communicate. I retreat and withdraw, and nothing is happening. And actually, there's a lot of studies that show when you have this kind of screaming and yelling, or you're in this fight or flight mode, that nothing effective works for at least 20 minutes. And so sometimes what happens, well, we'll tell you what Joe and I do.
Yeah.
So here in a minute, but I just want you to know that it's so ineffective that there's lots of science and psychology that shows how ineffective it is. It just puts us in a state of mind where we're wanting to run and retreat, and again, ineffective. So
Yeah,
when I
and
met
we
this
had,
handsome guy,
well, I was going to tell them about
okay.
one of mine. And we have a rule that is no hitting below the belt, and so one of my relationships was really about putting me down. I wasn't good enough, or gosh, Joe, you do those stupid things, and it's all was done in a joke, but it hurts, and so that's part of why we have a rule of not hitting below the belt. Putting someone down, even in a joke, is puts
There's no
someone
such
down.
thing as joking any way that it dishonors anyone, in whether it's our personal relationship or our family relationships or anything. Those kind of jokes are dishonoring, and so yeah. I would say X on jokes. Any
work
kind
with
of
our
jokes.
grandchildren.
It's not.
On
Yeah,
that.
we actually talked about that with them. So when I met Joe,
Me?
the first thing, this handsome guy sitting next to me, the first thing we did was do these rules of engagement, because I knew that I knew that that it was possible for two people to come together and actually have conversations,
Discuss issues.
real
Come to a
discuss
compromise.
issues, come to a compromise,
Hey, I like
really be on the same page, have a win-win. Really and truly, there is win-win situation. So I just want you to know that and envision that for yourself. If it's not a win-win, it's probably not a good working relationship. It's not reliable. It's not effective. Doesn't mean it can't be. So I don't want you to throw it all away. However, if you just keep coming to a not a win-win situation, it might be something to look at. So here's some things that we do. We state what we both want. You will hear that from Joe and I until we stop making videos or we're under
Or
6
dead.
feet under. Yeah.
And even then, I'll probably tell you what I want.
Because this relationship is so important. If he doesn't know what I want, or I don't know what he wants,
I can't help.
Yeah, we can't
I
help.
can't assist her getting it, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
we're always
she wants,
struggling.
I can't guess. I can't, find out. I'm not the clairvoyant. I don't understand girls. And so
You don't?
No. So if you tell me what you want, I will do my damnedest to get it, or come to some compromise and get you something close.
Mm-hmm. So maybe even listing some things that you want. We'll tell you some of ours here to give you a good start, because sometimes it's like, well, I'm not sure I know what I want. You'll know what's working and not working. So that's, once you've kind of listed some things, then you kind of keep going back. Is this a win-win situation? Are we both getting what we want? Because that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Did I forget to ask for what I want? Am I hoping that and praying that he knows what's going on in my head, which is a scary place, right?
Yeah, I'll never know. Right. Well, he's been with me for 20 years. He should know.
Yeah.
No, I doubt it.
Almost 25 years we've been together, so we still don't really know.
You don't know.
Yeah. So it's the other tips are just, it's got to be a win-win. Reanalyze if you kind of make your rules and list them out and they're still not working, go back and go, why aren't these working? Yeah, get another. But it's being willing and open to have those conversations. They're tricky, they're clunky, they're difficult sometimes, but and also know it's an evolving process. I think that would be probably my number one thing. Just know that you're not going to get it right. So you might get lucky and get it right the first time, but chances are it won't.
Keep working on it.
And a lot of times people say, oh, this looks so easy. Well, that's because we've had some practice. So make sure you know that it's a little bit of practice.
Intentional practice.
Be very intentional. So Joe already named one of the things was hitting below the belt. That just means anything that's dishonoring. If it's not honoring, don't say it. It's hurtful. It's painful. It undermines your partner.
And then your partner becomes in a defensive mode, and now you're not open to, now neither one of you are open.
Well, yeah, you'll never get to negotiations or a conversation at all, and you won't feel like you're on the same team. The other one we have is no name calling. That's like a super big one for me. Any kind of name that's said in a negative way, it's just hurtful and painful. And yeah, even if you say you witch like that, and it's
which I have.
The tone. And I corrected real quickly.
Yes, you did.
And that's something else. It's just quickly say, hey, that doesn't work for me. Don't walk away. Now yours are going to look differently, but no walk away for us means yes. Will we take a time out? Joe calls it cave time. Yes. Most definitely it's important to take time out when you both feel that it's heated, your emotions are in the way, and neither one of you are able to articulate what you want. And so yes, please do that. But what I asked for is have your cave time that's somewhere nearby where we are, and say, hey, I need some time out. I will come back to this conversation, because what I would get worried about, A, is abandonment.
He'll
never come back. or the silent treatment, and we would never contact the issue, and it would never get solved. And so,
And for me, I get cornered, and so all
mm,
I really want is to end, and so then I'll say whatever. But if I get to go, uh, the garage is generally where I go. If I get to go to the garage and hang out there for a bit, I can figure out how I feel. I can figure out what I want. I can figure out what's causing me trouble, and then we can have a conversation about it.
hmm And the other part you'll find out is that eventually, one, coming back happens a lot quicker, or two, you don't need as much cave time because you've both been operating under those rules for a while, and you pretty much know what each other's boundaries are so healthy and so helpful for your relationship. No bringing up the past.
Yeah, the past is gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
You can't do anything
You
about
always.
it. Well, we'll finish with the bringing up.
Oh, sorry.
Bringing up the past is just, it's not helpful. It never is. If it's a continuing issue, you might want to get a third party involved because for some reason you're not able to work it out together. But other than that, bringing up something, especially a long time ago, or
Doesn't
even,
help.
yeah, it just
Doesn't
never
help.
helps.
It's
Yeah.
only brought up for control or having weapons. Is the only reason the past is brought up. If we're not dealing with a particular situation here and now.
Yeah,
then-
let's not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about that one?
Which one?
You always.
You always.
You
declare-
always.
declare
You
this to me.
never,
You
yeah.
never pay attention to me. You always. ignore
Lumping
me.
everything all in one, it's simply not true.
No.
And
It's always. It's gray a lot of the time. It's very gray, and you guys and finding the solution is in that gray, in that area that that you have to compromise, and then it's beautiful. And usually the compromise is not like, oh, I have to lop off my left arm. It's it's usually just a little bit. Okay, so for one of the compromises for me is when I get in the truck, when I go home, make sure I text her and tell her I'm on my way. I'm not a great texter or communicator, and so there's a few
You're
things.
not.
No, there's a few things I do to try to help me be better at it.
and so that always and never, what that does is it goes back to kind of cornering. You're going, well, if I always or I never,
Yeah.
why
Then
try?
should
Why
even
should I try?
Yeah.
It's not going to do me any good anyway. Sort of puts you in a position of, yeah, just, yeah, I don't care.
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
win.
where you'll
I'm
be.
out.
And the last of ours is no talk of divorce.
Or breaking up.
Or
Yeah.
breaking up or
No
any of
threats of
those.
that.
Those threats automatically put you in. You're not on the same team.
Yeah.
You're already looking for your exit strategy. You're already trying to find a way out
You're
and
just
not
waiting
looking
for
to.
something to happen to give you a trigger so you can blame it on the other person.
It's also manipulative.
Yes.
You don't want to do it because it's manipulative. If anytime you're trying to control another person, if you're finding that you're controlling another person, that's the wrong strategy. It's do you.
Take care
When
of
you do you take care of you, you say what you want and what you need. It's usually easier. There are ways to compromise and work together. And so
And most of the time it's not a compromise. Most of the time it's, oh, that's what you want. Well, I can do that.
yeah, you'll be surprised. It might even surprise you how easy that win-win can happen.
Yeah.
So the main thing to remember is that these rules of engagement, however it is for you, because each couple's going to be different, each couple's going to have different needs, different desires. We're just telling you some of ours just to give you an idea. It's something that you sit down and you work on together. It builds emotional safety. Again, it feels more fair, and the outcomes are predictable. I know that when Joe says, because over and over and over again he's proved, when he goes to his cave and he takes his time, I know he's going to come back and he's going to talk about whatever we need to talk about. So after a while, you can count on it, and it feels safe, it feels nice, it feels like we're working together.
Yeah.
Feels like
I'm not cornered most of the time. I don't get cornered and feel like fight or flight. Whenever I feel like that, that's not a good place. So and she's really good now. We understand each other at making sure I don't get that.
Well, and if you think it works in your relationship, it works in all of your relationships.
Yes.
I can tell you, calling your kids names probably not a good idea.
Yeah, bringing up the past.
Bringing up the past, not helpful. So finding ways, you can talk with friends, co-workers, everyone, so you're all on the same page. It makes communication a lot more easier, and yeah, relationships a lot more fun. So those are some things. Thank you for joining us today. If you have some tips or things that or some questions about what we're doing, please comment below and we'll make sure we get back to them. If you have some deeper questions or concerns, or you would like us to talk about something special on our Saturdays, then you can email me, marie@mariesgold.com, and we're happy to do that. We also have a Facebook group called Relationships Unleashed, and in that group, I bring in all kinds of resources. You can ask us questions. It can be podcasts about relationships. Sometimes I interview people and bring their expertise in. I do a lot of self-love, self-care. So because when this person's feeling pretty good and all right, then the rest is going good. So yeah, come join us at one of those places. It's facebook.com/groups/relationships unleashed. So we'll put a link below, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And I think that's all. So until the next time we meet, may you find the gold in you because you are so beautiful. And may you find the gold in others because they're pretty all right.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And may you find the gold in every day because there's something beautiful to see in everything. God bless.